Hey, welcome back. It's brew day again. So we're getting into late summer and the beer is going pretty quickly at the moment. So I'm brewing another batch today, but this is actually brewing it for a friend. So I'm not even going to get to drink much of this one. This is actually a rebrew, and quite rare for me to actually rebrew anything because I like tinkering so much and experimenting that very rarely do I do two brews the same. So this brew I brewed a little while ago. It's an American pale ale. It has Simcoe and Amarillo as the hops, and I previously brewed it with the Mangrove Jack's West Coast ale yeast, M44 or M54, whatever it is. And it turned out really good. So I think, as I said on that video, all the kind of stars aligned on that, and it turned out really good. I took some on a camping trip with some mates, and they really enjoyed it. In fact, one of them said it was the best beer he'd ever tried. I passed it around some friends, and they also said it's one of the best beers they've ever had. So it turned out really well, which makes me kind of super nervous about rebrewing it, because the person that's asked me to brew it for a party he's having is one of the people that tried it initially. So there's a bit of pressure on here, and although it is a rebrew, there are a few variables that have changed in this. So number one, I've got a new brewing system, so I'm now using an all-in-one. So I previously brewed on in a brew in a bag system, 35 litre brew in a bag system. I'm now brewing on a Brewzilla Gen 4 all-in-one system. I've only done one brew on that so far, and it didn't exactly go to plan. So I'm sure by the time this video comes out, you would have seen the previous video on that. So I did a California Common, the numbers were way out, so I'm not really quite sure what went wrong. This is my second brew, although I've ringed some of those changes. I'm hoping that this one goes a bit more smoothly and I hit my numbers right. So that's kind of one major variable in this, although it is a kind of identical brew. The other is that it was previously brewed in kind of just a standard fermentation bucket and dry hopped in the normal way. I've now got a Brewzilla All-Rounder. So obviously that is a pressure fermenter, and so I'm going to be brewing this under pressure because I need to get it done fairly quickly. And I also now have the ability to transfer under pressure. So hopefully that's going to improve it. So anything I lose in the brewing stage, hopefully I'll get back in the fermentation stage and transfer stage. So as I said, the hops are Amarillo and Simcoe. So I used normal kind of T45 or T90 pellets, whatever they are, the standard pellets, and turned out really well. So I have thrown caution to the winds this time, and I'm actually using cryo hops. So first time I'm using cryo hops, never used them before. I don't know why. I don't know whether they seem expensive or I just used them or whatever. But I thought I'd give them a go. So the idea is that there is less vegetable, you know what I mean. There's less matter left at the end because they're much more highly concentrated. So the Simcoe ones are 22.8% IBU, or alpha acid I should say, and these are 17.5%, the Amarillo's alpha acid. Yeah, so I'm only using 100 grams of these. So basically I'm bittering with Magnum. I'm using 10 grams of Magnum. I'm doing a 30-minute boil, 10 grams of Magnum in at 30 minutes. And that's it pretty much until the whirlpool. And I'm doing 25 grams of each of the Simcoe and Amarillo Cryo hops in the whirlpool. That is going to be fermented about 22 degrees with the Crossmyloof 5 yeast. So this is US ale yeast, similar to US-05, slightly different I would say, but it is similar to US-05. So I'm using that instead of the Mangrove Jack's yeast, another variable change. So it's starting to mount up a little bit, although I've told him it's a rebrew. There's obviously a few a few variations going on here. And that is it. So I'm using RO water. So I've made some additions to that. So I've punched it all into Brewfather. I'm using the American Pale Ale water profile. So I've adjusted my water according to that profile, or what it recommends as suggested changes. So it's basically some baking soda, calcium chloride, Epsom salt and gypsum. And that is it. So I'm mashing for 60 minutes at 67 degrees. That is already underway, and I've just gone out to check on it. It's now up to 69 degrees. So I'm starting to think I should have bought the wrapped thermometer, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. So I've just notched it down a little bit. Hopefully that will stay in the range of 67 where I'm hoping it will be. So 67 degrees for 60 minutes and mashing out for 10 minutes at 75. Sparging straight in the, boil hops in fermenter, probably about 10 days. And then I'm going to be dry hopping for the last 2 days with another 25 grams each of Simcoe and Amarillo. Hopefully it's as delicious as the first one, and you will find out very soon, I'm sure, because I shall be putting off a few samples before I give it to him for his party, and I will report back on how it turned out. So that is it. Been rambling for some time. I'm going to go and check on my mash, might get a bit of footage on the way, and fingers crossed my next Brewzilla brew is trouble-free. So yeah, see you at the end for the tasting. Cheers. Back for the tasting. So as I said at the start, this brew was actually done for a friend of mine who's having a barbecue. That barbecue is actually happening tomorrow. I'm not actually sure in a sort of twist of events whether I'm actually going to be able to attend said barbecue now, so I thought I'd do this review now just in case I don't end up making it tomorrow. So yeah, this started off as a beer that I took on a camping trip with a few mates. They really enjoyed it, so much so one of them asked me if I wouldn't mind brewing it for this barbecue of his. So it was brewed and kegged, and the leftovers that I had I put into some bottles. So I bottle conditioned about 3 or 4 bottles, so that's what I'm going to be trying today. So it's not actually the kegged version, this is the bottle conditioned version, but for all intents and purposes, the same beer. This has been bottled for about 6 weeks now. So I think I took some footage on the way of me reusing some yeast. So there's usually a story with my brews. I was going away on holiday, so I was kind of trying to rush this through. I was kegging the beer before I went away. I was kegging a beer and brewing on the same day. So I was kegging a Californian Common, which I've just brewed with the California lager yeast, Mangrove Jacks. And rather than dump that yeast and have to clean out my fermenter, I threw caution to the wind, and I basically just tipped this brew on top of all of that yeast, screwed up the lid, and off it went. So yeah, wasn't quite sure how it was going to turn out. It was obviously, you know, it was a new packet of yeast for the brew previous, so it's not like one that I'd reused before. So yeah, I mean, it kicked off pretty quickly, and it was finished, I don't know, within a few days. I think, did I get back on holiday? I think what I did is I went on holiday, came back, and then I dry hopped it, and then cold crashed it. So it was dry hopped with the 25 grams each of the cryo hops. Yeah, so I think it was like 100 grams in total of the cryo hops. So I was kind of hoping for quite a punchy, hoppy beer. So although it was a rebrew, obviously I used standard pellet hops before. This was with the cryo hops. So this is what I got here. So enough of my rambling. Let's get it open. Nice little hiss. And see what it looks like in the glass. So yeah, I used the Mangrove Jacks West Coast yeast before, which was nice and crisp. Left it quite a little bit dry almost, but really impressed with that yeast. And that was kind of what I was intending to use again, I think. So yeah, what are we expecting? What differences are we expecting? I guess this is going to be maybe a little bit crisper. It has been conditioning in the fridge for probably 4 weeks. So it was left in the bottle somewhere warm for 2 weeks, and then they've been in the fridge for probably 4 weeks now. And just standing here talking, I can smell it. It smells really nice. So that's what it looks like in the glass. It's lovely and clear. There's a very slight haze on it, but it's very light straw colour, slightly browny goldy colour, I guess you could call that. But yeah, it's a maybe a medium gold colour, I'd say. Nice tight frothy head on the top, nice carbonation in the glass, and I can tell you now that it smells pretty good from here. So yeah, I mean, you got the classic Simcoe and Amarillo aromas from it again. It smells really nice, sort of, you know, citrusy, peachy, orange, mango, all those kind of things. A little bit piney. It just smells absolutely wonderful. That hop combo, really good, really impressed them. I'm actually quite glad I did a rebrew of it, because yeah, it's a nice combo. Right, I'm going to dive in. Let's have a taste. Oh yeah, it's really nice. It is a bit crisper. It does feel a bit more kind of like a lager, sort of, a bit more body to it than a lager, I guess, but you can, you know, there's definite crispness to it. Nice bitterness. I'm not sure I could tell the difference between the cryo hops and the regular hops. I mean, I don't know if that is the point of them, to be honest. I know that the point is that you use less of them, so you have less vegetal matter left in the brew. You know, it's a lot easier to get it out again from the fermenter. Yeah, and you don't have so much in the kettle when you boil it. So I guess that's the point. Much more expensive than regular hops. But I guess once you use if you need to use twice the amount of regular pellets, then it's probably about equal money wise. But I mean, I'm not blown away by them. They're certainly not much more punchy than the regular hops. From what I remember of that previous brew, it was probably about the same as this, maybe even a little bit more hoppy, dare I say. But even still, that is a cracking beer. So I'm glad it turned out well, because as I said, there was a bit of pressure here, as the first one did turn out very well. It's one of those beers there where all the stars aligned, and it was a cracking brew. The pressure was on to reproduce that, so I think I'm pretty much there. I'm glad it's turned out as well as that, and I hope he is as pleased as I am with it, because I think yeah, it's turned out good. So if I do make it to the party tomorrow and I'm sober enough to get some footage, then hopefully I can get some video of other people enjoying it. If not, you'll have to take my word for it. So there we go. Anyway, cheers for now. See you next time.